everybody, Charlie Runner 2 here, and welcome back to Disco Elysium. When we left off, we were questioning Gary here, along with Moral, the cryptozoologist, and I think Gary is hiding something, so we're going to try to pass a check here. It's a white check, we can redo it.
Pleasure to see it. I mean, officers.
What? Why is he shifting around like that? Analyze his composure. Come on, green.
Is he?
Red.
He's looking comfortable enough. Maybe it was just beads.
Those
Sounded like beads.
Are those
What
prayer
kind
beads
of
I keep
beads
hearing?
might a man like Gary be hiding beneath his clothes?
I don't pray, officer. Faith in non-existent helpers is a sign of weakness. Not for proper Revicolian men such as ourselves.
Yeah, I don't like you. Alright, let's leave. Let's boost our... Was it composure? Let's double check before we waste a skill point.
Always, I mean, officers.
Composure. Alright, composure. Boost it. 6. Accept. 58. Man, really? It didn't get any better? Let's try it again.
Not many Sealites here. Or anywhere. Oh, yes. Of course he is. I was just speaking...
Okay, he keeps
Goodness
shifting
gracious.
uncomfortably, but you can't make head or tail of this sound. And honestly, it's rude to stare, so stop.
We're doing it again. We're doing it. We're doing it live. Thank you for cooperation. Now talk to me again.
I mean, officer.
72.
That shirt looks very uncomfortable on him. Look at the buttons, barely keeping that thing together, as if something is ready to rip out from underneath.
Give us the armor.
Yes, like a piece of ceramic armor, for example. One that makes a clicking sound when the plates meet each other, resembling pearls or marbles, stolen from the corpse in the yard near where he lives.
I see you're a connoisseur of high-quality combat gear.
I knew you'd figure it out, officer. I'm sorry I didn't tell you at once.
He unbuttons the shirt.
I was ashamed of what I did. And I didn't want you to know.
You see the gleaming white ceramic shine underneath. A thin layer of interlocking plates covers his gaunt torso.
We're not detecting falsehood, sire. He's gearing up to admit the truth.
Gary, what's going on?
Later, Morale. I've got apologizing to do.
Darn tootin' you do.
No, you've got explaining to do.
Give me the armor, now.
He sighs again, hangs his head, and unbuttons his shirt fully. A cuirass that matches the dead man's boots comes into view. Soon it is in your hands, smelling of his sweat. But so light to hold, like a bag of cotton.
Alright, why'd you really put those clothes in the trash?
Everyone was picking those pieces off him, and I was watching them do it. And they'd scattered his clothes all over the yard. Everything was smelling.
He looks at his feet.
So I went there to take out the trash and started cleaning up. All those rags on the ground, him swinging up there, and I had a lapse of honor, sir. I thought, he's a foreigner. They all say he wasn't from here.
What does that matter?
Only the cuirass was left, so I stripped it off him. It was early in the morning. No one saw me. I took it with me. It was a mistake. Had I known it'd give you guys trouble, I wouldn't have... Fuck.
We're detecting sincere contrition here, sire. He's not trying to flatter anyone.
It's okay. It was a loose end, and you are tying it up now.
I'm so fucking sorry I called you Yellow Man. Sealite officers commanded the suzerain's navy. Most of them sided with the king when...
They were thoroughly conservative men, he realizes suddenly.
Do you know who killed the hangman?
I always thought it was the Union. Some Union hardasses. Lynched him because of the strike. But almost everyone in town knows that. I wish I could tell you more.
This is all he knows.
Why'd you lie to me, Gary?
Because I was weak. I should have told you the moment I saw you. But...
The hell, Gary? You in trouble?
Yeah, he's about to be.
I'll explain later.
We done here, Gary?
Yes, absolutely. I will never do anything like this again.
All right, thanks for your cooperation. We actually got a lot of info from him. Kind of glad we put those points in, because now we do have the cuirass. Can we wear it? Gives me +1 to pain, +1 to volition. Does it replace my shirt? It does. People will find it odd if I'm wearing a dead guy's armor, though. White satin shirt. Is that the nicest shirt I have? Yeah. We'll put the armor down here. Man, it makes a ding. Alright, cool. We have the armor. We've tied up a lot of these. Found one armor piece. I did. I found it. How's that not done? Prove your authority. Smoker on the balcony. That's tonight at 21. Open apartment door for Evart. We're not doing that one. Buy fawn pants from Kuno. Run the number. Call Alice back in a day for the infos. That's tomorrow. Victims' tattoos. Rest of the armor. Gotta confront Kuno. Secret passage. Sing karaoke, which we can do now. And find out who reported the crime. Okay. Do we need to conceptualize anything? We don't have any level ups to do that. Let's look here. Let's talk to Moral again.
Hello.
Can we click this?
What can I do for you, officer?
Tell me about the phasmid you're looking
Which
for.
is why we've been knee-deep in the reeds laying traps for it.
How big is it?
I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One known species of phasmid, called the Megaphasmodea zoensis, is about the size of a grown man's forearm. So,
What have you discovered so far?
very little, I'm sorry to say. No one's ever captured a specimen, so all our information is based on first and third-hand accounts.
So no one's ever found one.
Not yet. That's what makes it a cryptid.
Are you Australian?
Just out of curiosity, if there's no proof of its existence, how do you know it's real?
I know it's real.
The cryptozoologist says brusquely enough that even he seems taken aback by it.
It's clear that his obsession with the phasmid is driven by something more than the pure pursuit of scientific advancement.
By which I mean, I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Insulindian phasmid is more than mere superstition.
Yeah, Lena said there was a sighting here in Martinez.
Yes, the most recent sighting was by a couple of teenagers along the coast here. That's what brought us to Martinez specifically.
Continue.
It's the first credible sighting in several decades. Admittedly, it's an unusual location for this species, but with all the sewage runoff upstream, it probably doesn't matter much anymore.
Agreed, maybe it's died out.
I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary creature is doubtlessly highly resilient. After all, it's generally thought to be capable of parthenogenesis.
What is that?
He means asexual reproduction. The females of the species don't need to mate to produce viable eggs. This makes it easier for a species with a small population to survive.
That's pretty clever.
Yes, the Insulindian phasmid is a very clever insect. That's why it's so damn difficult to catch. But as a scientist, I'll try my best to remain dispassionate.
Did you know Gary was hiding the armor?
Hell no. I had no idea. And I'm still cross with him, to be honest. It's not like him. He's got his quirks, but dishonesty, disloyalty are not one of them.
Thanks.
I don't care about the traps. Lena seems pretty eager for you to return.
And I'm eager to return to her, I assure you. But I can't leave before we finish with these traps. My wife understands that just as well as anyone.
So this says he looks south, where Lena would be. Lena is pretty much to the east from the way this is oriented. So that would mean the north would be over this way, and the south would be back in this corner, isometrically.
Come on, Morel. We've been soaking out here for days. It's time to go back.
And leave the traps? Absolutely not. I won't let Lena down.
He won't let Lena down. Is this for her because you feel sorry that she can't go on grand adventures, so you make up these grand adventures to go so she can live vicariously through you?
Come on, she wants us back. I'm soaked up to my nuts over here. We'll both catch reed crabs if we don't dry out soon.
I didn't know it was so important to Lena.
Of course it's important to her. She's seen it. A verified sighting, on record. One of only 40th century, and it's hers.
She's seen it.
She sighted the Phasmid? She didn't tell me that.
Yes, that's how we first came to know one another, in fact. But that's her story to tell, not
Okay,
mine.
We'll have to talk to her about that.
Suffice to say, it's long been our dream to find proof of the Insulindian Phasmid together. I can't abandon course now.
Maybe you can go back, warm up, and come back to your traps later?
No. The traps need to be monitored on a regular schedule. What would we do if the Phasmid were to starve while we were sipping tea at the hostel?
Man, it can't take that long to walk over there and come back.
He's dead set on this. I could go for some trap setting.
Tell me about these traps.
Well, they may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly, so I'm sure they'll do the trick.
What are you using as bait?
Locusts. Nearly all known phasmids are herbivores, of course, but we've hypothesized that the Insulindian phasmid might occasionally prey on other insects.
If it occasionally preys on other insects, then that seems like a poor choice of bait.
Inside the traps, a number of locusts crawl and tumble over one another in a tiny, chittering swarm.
I cannot stand grasshoppers and locusts. I think I've hypothesized this. I've talked about it with my wife. I think it's because they move so erratically by just jumping, and they like jump in erratic ways, and it just gets me. I can't stand them.
A meat-eating stick insect? Does it pretend to be the reeds as part of its ambush behavior? This seems unlikely.
Carnivorous stick insect seems unlikely.
Thank you for your opinion. We have also included plant material in the traps to satiate your skepticism.
But the locust will eat the plant material.
Yes. What?
What if we check the traps for you?
I didn't expect you to take such an interest in our work here, officer.
Cryptozoology and detective work are actually very similar.
Yes, indeed. Both require a great deal of research, attention to detail, and, above all, persistence.
Where are these traps?
There are 4 in total. One is to the south, on this little peninsula, by the boathouses there. It's very near. Another we set in Land's End, to the northeast. It's behind a small sand dune there, on your way to the old radio tower, after the church. The third is set near the canal, where you crossed, by a concrete slab. A big thicket of reeds going up the slope, and among them,
He gestures to the trap in front of him.
you should check at least one of those before returning to this one, since I just said it. This one's more of a technicality, but still, better safe and stupid than sorry.
That seems like a lot. Do we really have time for this extracurricular venture?
Pursuit of knowledge is its own justification.
Is it?
He doesn't look convinced. What do I do if there's a phasmid in the trap?
Bring it to me at once. Just make sure the trap is closed tight.
He's not comfortable with the possibility that you'll claim the find, but he's lying about this even to himself.
What if I encounter the phasmid in the wild?
That's highly unlikely, officer. But in the event you do, I'll spray you with a pheromone mixture I developed.
Okay.
It's made of musk and research chemicals. The pheromone should attract the insect to you, or at least prevent it from bolting at the sight of you. It's quite potent. Will last you about a week.
I don't know if this will help me with interacting with people. Lay it on me.
Wise choice.
This is the smell of dying reeds, of longing crumbling into the water.
I hope you're not buying this. He dispenses it without letting you touch the canister, so it would be precious like holy water.
It is precious. A single dose cost me 50 real to develop. Not that I expect you to understand self-financing one's own research.
He looks at the lieutenant with disdain, then puts the spray back in his pocket. I'm ready, let's get to it.
Right. Which means you two can pack up and go back to the whirling.
That's the whole point of this.
Finally, someone's talking sense.
Thank you for your help. Gary and I will start breaking down camp. If you have any more questions, now's the time to ask. We'll be gone once you get to it.
If it's more cryptid-related business you want to discuss, you'll have time for that later too.
I'll get going. Alright, so I may or may not check these traps. I'm not going to go out of my way for it. Alright, looks like a can over here. Money! Can we go up here? We can't go up here. Let's look at this. Panel. Is this the church? Whoa, where are we going? Alright, we will start here and work our way back. Fence blocks the path. No way on from here. Another power box. It charges nothing now. It's empty. Let's equip. I think the pry bar is what we need. Yes. And that is Nosafed. And that is 5 real. Okay. Pretty good, if I must say so myself. There's a box. 1 real. And then there's a sign. Let's look at this. Field electrical.
You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Feld Electrical R&D.
Oh, Feld, not Field. I didn't even notice that.
A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now, only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says, tomorrow is just a whisper away.
Tomorrow's just a whisper away.
Looks like tomorrow never came.
Turn away. Who are you?
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with.
A blind man stands next to his son, pointing to the weather-worn ruins. Weather-worn ruins. He sees you approaching and smiles.
You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Tran Hailostam. You must be Kim Kituragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building. Not a lot of people realize the historic significance here. Very rich in hypertext.
How does he know Kim?
Nice to meet you.
What's hypertext?
Yes, hypertext. Young Carp and the collection of cultural hyperlinks.
What was that about the windows before?
Oh yes, so Mikhail. They had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the summer. They still had vector monitors back then. That was 49 years ago. So they didn't have windows on the south wall.
You and Kim know each other?
No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers.
He rests his hand on the boy's shoulder. The child stays hidden behind the hem of his father's coat, clutching to his worm-themed coloring book. Worm?
Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting really into worms lately.
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radio shows.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. we could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
Wow, get a load of this guy. He really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language was named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, a cybernetician from Grad. They run Vox in the Occidental countries.
I think that's a little bit of the pot calling the kettle black there, Encyclopedia. You look like someone who has money. No, we're not going to beg. What's so fascinating about an empty old building? No. Well, yeah, let's ask that.
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building.
All four of you turn to admire the mural before you.
What not a lot of people know is this used to be the R&D department of Felt Electrical. And Felt, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
Look at the building looming over you.
It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the collapsed rooftop. Some kind of bird has set up a nest on a broken windowsill.
I don't think I've ever heard of this Feld Electrical.
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains.
He adjusts his suit jacket.
They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player in the emerging personal electronics market of the pre-revolutionary era. Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve. Or should I say, they were developing an ace up their sleeve? I'm mixing my metaphors here.
What was the ace?
It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for a tape computer.
A tape computer?
An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution. Revolutionizing business machines, possibly even bring them to the average consumer.
Okay, so IBM?
Which is a feat of engineering even today's giants, REM, ICN and ZAM, haven't achieved yet.
He grinned, admiring the sentence he just produced.
He assumes something like a combat stance, facing the wind.
All right, I'll buy it. What happened?
Indeed. What?
The revolution!
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes. Possibly from this very building, or one of the adjacent ruins.
Can we find this prototype?
All of this was built by Feld, even the boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D.
Let's ask about the tape computers. What did the revolutionaries do with them?
They used them for military communications, but also to write and send out press releases. The most notorious example being Le Décret de Mars.
What was that?
What's the Mars Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created Commune of Revachol on the 7th of March in the year 02.
A short-lived legislative foundation for a short-lived utopia.
It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bon Baiser dans le Lind. You should read it. Every local library in Revachol stocks a copy of the decree. I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. Tried to. Someone was much too interested in worms to be paying any attention.
Did y'all notice how the light just abruptly changed?
The kid takes a peek at the green and silver worm on the cover of the book, already forgetting about this part of the discussion.
How did those tape computers work?
Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, they were very elegant, exquisite, alien-looking turn-of-the-century hardware.
He raises his finger, remembering something.
Buckle up.
10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Wompty Dumpty Dum Center in Vredefort, Oranje. It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy discussions with Paul Ockerman, who was head curator at the time. This was before the twins Keith and Guy Jews joined the team, trying to...
Wait, did he just say Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center?
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I picked up on in that whole paragraph as well.
What the hell is a Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy Yost?
Let's just keep talking about the computers.
Yes, tape computers and Feld electrical.
All right, let's talk about something else.
But of course, what else?
Thanks for all the information, guy.
No, thanks to you for having me and little Mikhail here to pick your brain. A very interesting conversation indeed.
Pick your brain. If anything, this was rather once.
Okay, it's one-sided. He did the talking. I don't understand why we don't ask him about the murders. You know, us being a detective and all. Bars covered long, dusty windows. Apparently we can get up here.
The remaining windows rattle from a strong gust of wind. They're covered in a thick layer of grime. They must have been like this for 40 years.
Try to see inside.
Dripping water falls from a high place. All you can see is the shadow of a collapsing staircase. There's rust and corrosion on the bars. They're foaming with it. And a small layer of white salt from the sea.
Can you make out what's inside?
No. I won't even try. You know, I had a partner once. They called him Eyes, because he had to show me things. It's that bad.
Let's just nod. I don't want to give him a complex. How do we get up here to that? And what is this thing? That's the phone. That's the other phone. Alright. This place is much larger than I expected. This is the church. Okay, let's look at the phone.
A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. You could use it to call someone, unless you're out of change.
Pick up the handset.
You hear the tone. The machine is inoperable.
It says is operable. Leave. Okay, this is the other phone that could have been used. Let's go ahead and go north to the church. There is a ton of content up here. Alright, what is this?
Someone has left an unidentifiable article of clothing on this railing. It smells really bad.
Let's take a closer look.
It's streaked with dried seagull shit and tangled with pieces of seaweed. A dangling arm suggests that there might be a jacket beneath the crust of filth. It seems likely that it was left in the surf until someone laid it out on this fence to dry out. Unfortunately, that just seems to have stiffened it into a shapeless mass.
Please tell me you're not taking that with you.
Might be a clue.
A clue? You think our suspect is a seagull who's been defecating on unsuspecting jacket?
No.
Me neither.
You should still take it.
Filthy jacket. Alright, let's look at the filthy jacket. Filthy rag has been at the mercy of the elements for quite some time. It's streaked with seagull poop and abnormally stiff from God knows what natural processes. You can't even tell what brand it is. Now let's interact.
As you hold it in your hands, it makes an uncomfortable crunching sound.
Man, how did this jacket get so disgusting?
It's a sordid, filthy tale, not for the weak. Are you sure you can stomach it?
Probably not.
Some secrets are better left uncovered. Don't even try. Seriously.
We passed a check that told us not to try. Let's do it. Think about
It
it.
occurs to you that you're not even holding the jacket itself, but rather the thick crust of jetsam and seagull shit that ensconces it. It smells like a dead sea creature, tangled in grey strands of seaweed. It must have spent quite some time in the water before the tide deposited it ashore.
Gross.
Why? Why did you think about it? Look at your hands. They're covered in muck.
Flick your hands.
Now you're just flicking that shit everywhere. This is a disaster. You'll never get the smell out.
Alright, well that wasn't good. Do we still have the jacket? Yep. And barrel? Money. Look up here. Makeshift roof. Look up here. Coin-operated weighing machine. Tarp will keep out neither rain, nor snow, nor wind. It's a box. Ooh, Mega Binos prescription lenses. Take all of those. Vagrants have recently painted the tarp red. They've painted it red. That's the Union colors. What's over here? We need tools. Postcard Quran 33. Take it. Let's also put our bag back in our hand. Take this out. Look in the barrel. Take the tear. Grab the money. Take all. Let's go over here. There's some tear over here. Tear is recyclable trash. Take all. Can we go up here? Doesn't look like it. But we can go up this way. Alright, and we'll do it next episode. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy my content, please consider a like, a comment, and a subscribe. Either way, stay tuned for next episode, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.